So we're going to ask them to go ahead and introduce themselves or wave to the crowd. Go ahead, Tony. We have Tony. Look, he got his game face on. We have Howard in our center spot. Go ahead, Howard. And we have a guest on tonight, Rashawn. Rashawn, go ahead and tell us who you are.
Yeah, I'm just another brother on here.
Ain't nothing wrong
Howard's
with
my
that.
dad.
All
He
right.
invited me on here, so
Man, we're looking for a great show tonight, guys. Go ahead and share this if you're watching by Facebook. If you're watching online on kingdompurposetv.com, guys, go ahead and let people know that we are on. We're looking for a good show. We had a great show on last week. Let me give you the rules and how everything's going to work. Each analyst will start off with no time on the clock. Their clocks are on top of their screens. And every time they make a provocative or interesting comment, their clock will start to run. And then at the end of the game, you'll hit a horn. Once the horn blows, whoever have the most time on the clock will then be able to have a few minutes to encourage all of you viewers that are out there. That is what makes this a kingdom twist, is that they get the last word to encourage everybody. Couple of things we want to make note of. We just added the fact check. When somebody makes a statement that another analyst says that they're fact checking, they can fact check them. While they're talking about it, I will then research the answer. And whoever is right can keep their time that they have on the clock. Whoever is wrong goes back to zero and they start over. All right. And we have on here, you can see in the top corners of every one of their screens, they have a 2-minute clock. Each comment that they make, they get a 2-minute countdown. After the 2 minutes over, somebody else can talk, and then they can get a 30-second rebuttal on that as well. And so whoever wins at the end, once again, with the Kingdom Twist, they can have that. So let's get started, guys. Anything you guys want to say to each other before we get started?
Hey Tony, good luck, man.
Sure. Okay. All right. Here we go. We just had the NBA Finals complete. The Milwaukee Bucks took it in 6 games. And man, Giannis had, how many? He had 50 points,
Yes.
double-digit rebounds, 5 block shots. One of the best top 5, I think, NBA Finals games ever. And so he made a statement a couple of days ago, and he said it again here. I want you guys to listen to this, and we're going to talk about it when we come back.
When you re-signed your contract, your extension, I'm sure it was with this in mind. Well, could you imagine it happening for you the way that it's happened?
Man, I couldn't, I couldn't live. You know, there was a job that had to be finished. You know, I feel like the Bible did not pay us justice. You know, we give credit to Miami Heat. They played great, but it did not pay us justice. Like everybody was feeling homesick. We're a family-oriented team. Wanted to see our families, but you know, coming back, I was like, this is my city. You know, they trust me. They believe in me. They believed in us. Even when we were lost, the city still was like on our side. And you know, obviously, I wanted to get the job done. You know, but that's my stubborn side. Like it's easy to go somewhere and go and win a championship with somebody else. It's easy. I could go. I don't want to put anybody in the spot, but I could go to a super team and you know just do my part and win a championship, still won. But this is the hard way to do it, and this is the way, and we did it.
All right. Giannis say he didn't go with the super team. All right. Question is, does it matter where and how you win a ring? Does it matter where and how? Did he dispel the myth of having to go with the super team, or how does that? Does it matter if you get a super team or not, or do you do it the way Giannis do it? Howard, we start with you.
Man, oh man, man, oh man. This dude, man, brought up some great points of how to win a championship without a whole lot of great players. I almost couldn't understand what that Joker was saying, but you know, but anyway, look, man, he proved the point. He proved the point that you can win without superstars. And what I loved about what he said was that he didn't have to go to a super team to win one. He had his super team right there with him. He had a camaraderie of players. He had some good defensive players. He had some offensive players. They showed up. They did what they had to do, man. I got to agree with Giannis on this, man. You don't, the question is, does it matter where and how? I guess not. But at the same time, he did it with this group, and you got to take your hats off to this dude, man. You got to take your hats off to him. Awesome. He made me speechless because I was rooting for Phoenix, but he made me speechless. And the last three games that he played, 40, 40, and 50, come on. I don't remember seeing nobody do that. I don't remember seeing nobody do that. 40, 40, and 50. And the blocks that he was making, man, proves why he was known as one of the best defensive players. He's one of the best defensive players ever. Put it that way. Howard said it tonight, right here live on KTP TV. Go ahead, next person.
All right, Tony, go.
I do appreciate the fact that Howard was not getting points for saying I don't know what to say. I would say yes, as it relates to the question, it absolutely matters where and how you win the ring. Because right now, one of the things that people try to use against LeBron in order to take away his greatness is the fact that he had to go and team up with Bosh and Wade. People like to throw that out there. People want to disrespect KD, saying that his rings didn't mean anything because Golden State was already good before he got there. People like to throw out that narrative. Well, that's one thing that Giannis does not have to worry about. He did not leave and go join. However, I do want to point out, it's not like Giannis took me, Howard, and Rashawn to go out there and play with him. He has Drew Holiday, who is one of the best two-way players in the league. They had, who was also a perennial All-Star. They had Chris Middleton, who was also an Olympian, as well as Drew Holiday is. They went and picked up P.J. Tucker, who he is the guy that you go and grab to defend the other team's best offensive player. So it's not like he went and played with chopped liver. I will say this, the Milwaukee Bucks these were the two best teams in the final, meaning they were constructed well as a complete and total team. So that was very good to see. But it actually does matter because at the end of the day, if Giannis ends up with as many rings as LeBron, there will be people who put him over LeBron simply because he doesn't go out. I don't think he's as a complete player, but that's going to be the narrative, and it's one thing that he never has to deal with.
Rashawn.
This is a tough question for me. I do not think that it matters to an extent. At the end of the day, you are still getting a ring. At the end of the day, you do have the championship. Now, with that said, I do believe that you will have a tarnish, an asterisk on that title, where people can debate, as Tony said, like where they try to take away from LeBron or KD, And on that same token, I don't think Giannis was playing with bums. Chris Middleton is an all-star, and they were. What I was happy to see was a defensive-minded team win the championship again. Instead of, because, the NBA nowadays is high power offense. The super team didn't win it this year. Giannis and them took them out, because they were a great defensive team, minus the fact that there were some key injuries. So. That's all I got to say about that.
I think that Giannis really kind of dispelled that myth about you had to have to go and get a super team to win. He really did that. I mean, let me ask you guys a question while we're talking about this. This is not on one of the topics. Do you think injuries played a huge part in him getting the ring? Do you think if the injuries was not there, he might not have won that ring? Tony?
Well, I mean, well, to be honest, if Kevin Durant wore size 11 shoe instead of
Yeah,
that 14, 15,
great point.
he would not have won the title this year. So
Great point.
it's very difficult to say that injuries did not play a factor. However, I won't dismiss it because they went through some injuries of their own when they dealt with Giannis being out while they were playing the Hawks, and the Hawks were playing some of the best basketball in the playoffs at the time. So every team has had to deal with injuries, and it's no different than every other year. Part of winning it's a lot of skill, a lot of preparation, but it's also a lot of luck. You got to be fortunate. You got to be blessed not to have those injuries. So, yes, it played a part, but, I mean, if it wasn't for injuries, Phoenix may not have been there because they had the Lakers in the first round. So, I mean, it played a part, but I won't take anything away from it.
Howard?
Yes, injuries played a little part of it because I believe if Brooklyn was full force, James Harden wasn't injured, Kyrie wasn't injured, I don't believe Milwaukee would have beat them in Brooklyn. Period.
Good point.
They would not have beaten them in Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn would have took them out maybe in 7, possibly in 6, but because that three-headed monster, and they had some other guys that could play too.
Good point.
I don't think they could have messed with them, man. That would have been a tough out. That would have been a tough. If they could have put them out with them 3 in there, my hats would have been off for Milwaukee. Period. Hands down.
Good point. Rashawn?
Yeah, I have to agree too. I mean, injuries play a big part, but it's a part of the game as well. You know, you can't help it. It sucks, but at the end of the day, it's next man up. You know, they played through it. Each team has to play through it. That's just the road to the championship this year. You know, so.
And Bishop, to answer your question, to go along with that, if you think about it, that is the argument against putting together a super team. The Nets were not equipped to handle an injury because all of their cap is taken up off of 3 players.
Great.
And
Great.
They got a couple other guys that make a little bit of money, but they don't have any cap, any roster maneuverability. Whereas in next man up was truly the thing. People forget Dante DiVincenzo was on the come and he's been out, so they were missing some players as well. So, but when you're a team that's constructed as a team, you're
top
not so
heavy.
dependent on. Right. Yeah.
Great point. All right, next thing. CP3 lost this finals, man. I was rooting for CP3. I was hoping he could get it. But 2 questions. One I thought about as we're going to move into this one, and then I'll get into the next one. But what the question I want to ask is, does this finals loss affect CP3's legacy? Howard?
Man, I don't think it affects his legacy because this is the first time he's ever been there. It's not going to affect his legacy at all. Would I have loved to see him win it? Yes. I would have loved that to happen. Did they have the opportunity? Yes, they did have the opportunity. Let me tell you something. When you're up 16 points at home against another team in the first quarter, and then you somehow lose that lead in the second quarter, get outscored by 19 points. In the second quarter, they got outscored. So, that's up to the guys that are playing, man. I was disappointed, but his legacy, man, I love the way that he got to where he got to. They didn't have a super team either. If you really want to think about it, they didn't have a super team. They had some pieces put together, and they made a run. They just ran into Milwaukee, and before I end this one, it's not going to affect his legacy. But I never thought that daggone Giannis would be playing, man. I didn't think he would be playing in that series that early.
Yeah.
I didn't. And whatever they did to him, the Bionic Man, to get him ready for the start of the series, man, that was a blessing all by itself, Tom. That was a blessing, bro. I didn't think he was going to do that, but no, it's not going to mess up Chris's legacy.
All right, Rashawn.
Nah, it's not gonna mess up Chris's legacy. Like I said, that's another milestone for him. I mean, he's just got to get over the hump. You heard him in the press conference. He said he ain't retiring. So, on to the next season. I do think this may have been his best season, unless he does go and, I've been hearing rumors about going to the Lakers or whatever. They're looking for a point guard. But yeah, I do think this was his best chance to get one. But as far as his legacy, no, he's solid. And I love that he brought the mid range back too. He's just whew. He had Drew Holiday mimicking him a couple games.
Yeah,
going to work with.
Drew Holiday put that defense on Christian.
Yeah, he puts it on everybody.
He put it on him. Tony.
So I'm actually going to say something that might be a little bit controversial, but if people look at it objectively, they'll see what I'm saying. No, it will not affect his legacy. In fact, I think it enhances his legacy, and here's why. To me, the Phoenix Suns, from a pure talent standpoint, was maybe about the 7th best team in the playoffs from a pure talent standpoint.
Not in the West, I mean the whole playoff.
I'm saying for the playoffs.
Right.
When you just look at, if you just stack them up roster to roster. And I'm saying 7, and I'm really being generous. I think out of the 16, they could have been lower than that. None of these guys prior to Chris's arrival, Booker has shown flashes. DeAndre Ayton was almost considered a bust. No, they didn't know what to do with Mikal Bridges, so he wasn't, playing the kind of ball that he had. And they didn't have Jay Crowder, but Jay Crowder's shown he's a missing piece to a playoff championship contending team. And, with the rest of the roster that they have, I mean, Cameron Payne, okay, yeah, I mean, honestly, he's an NBA player. That's great. So he doesn't have a team that is much better than the team that he had last year in OKC, which, by the way, was actually trying to lose games, and Chris Paul wouldn't let him do it. Chris Paul has a legacy of being the kind of leader that can go in and turn a franchise around. He can go in and take pieces that you're trying to throw away so you can get better draft picks. And this guy comes in and is like, ooh, wait, we made the playoffs. No lottery this year. We got to get rid of him because it's not working out. So to me, him taking that team from Phoenix, going from not making the playoffs in 14 years to the NBA Finals in his first year there, I think it actually enhances his legacy.
Good point. Anybody else? Could we move on? All right, let's go to this next one. Tone, I apologize in advance for this one. All right.
Oh my.
How many Super Bowls? I was listening to Jerry Jones talk today about the Cowboys. How many Super Bowls you think Dallas can win in the next 3 years? How many Super Bowls, Rashawn?
I honestly have to say 0 if Jerry's still, I mean, if he's still trying to run, take lead on all the moves and stuff. 0. I mean, Cowboys, they've had the roster for year after year after year, and I pick on my dad all the time with it, We're in a tough division, so it'll be easy to get to the playoffs, I think, for years to come. But just going over that hump, 0. I got to say.
All right, 0. So you give him 0. You don't give him a chance to get a Super Bowl. All right, not Howard. Tony, I'll let you go on this one.
So I'm going to go with, I don't know if there's anything less than 0. But here's why. It's actually not an indictment on Dallas. Dallas is actually building. However, there are teams that are already there. You have Matthew Stafford, who is now going to the Rams. Oh, yeah, you have the defending Super Bowl champion who's still playing in Tampa Bay. And then if they do happen to make it to the Super Bowl, they have to go up against the likes of, either Josh Allen with the Bills or the loaded team in Cleveland or that bad man who is Patrick Mahomes. That team is not going anywhere. So although Dallas is building, they are so far away from the upper echelon that even if they were to make a good playoff run and be a decent team, they have 0 chance of winning any titles in the next 3 years, unless all of those quarterbacks all trip and fall and sprain their ankle come playoff.
Yeah, good for it. All right. Howard.
Hey, look, Bishop, he don't deserve no points for that. But anyway, listen, man, I'm so sick and tired of Jerry Jones. I'm so sick and tired of Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is the reason why Dallas is where they are now.
Explain
Jerry
why.
Jones is the
Explain
reason.
why.
We had one of the best coaches to ever coach football in Dallas, and he fired him because he wanted to get all the glory. Jerry Jones did. From that point on,
Good
how
point.
many times have Dallas been to the playoffs? How many? We ain't won those Super Bowls in forever since '95. So Jerry Jones is the problem for the Cowboys. First of
No
all,
fact check,
I
Tom.
don't like Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones when he play, and I don't like Jerry Jones.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I do not like him, man. But when we win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years, I'm a Cowboys fan. Um, if I say yes, y'all will think I'm smoking. So I'm not gonna say yes. No, they will not. They will not. They may make a run at one. Tony, you better stop. They will make a run. I think in maybe a year or two that they may make a good run in the playoffs. But as far as that's concerned, the Super Bowl, I don't see. As long as that dude is there, man. I'm sorry.
Well, then, let me
I
ask you.
apologize to Dallas.
Let me ask y'all a question. If you don't think they're gonna make us get a Super Bowl in the next 3 years, then you really said you don't think they're gonna get a Super Bowl in the next 5 years.
I didn't say 5. I said
I mean, what's
3.
gonna change? what's gonna change? What's gonna change between now and 5 years? But everybody getting older.
Jerry Jones
Oh,
won't be there.
okay, okay, yeah, okay.
I will say this: the Cowboys can win the Super Bowl if Jerry Jones steps down, and then
Yeah.
Steven somehow figures out a way to get Bill Belichick to come over and coach the Cowboys, who will immediately get rid of Mike McCarthy and everything he has ever put his hands on.
That was the worst coach.
To me, the coaching hire was what set the franchise back. So as long as this dude is under contract, there is no way. As a matter of fact, the players don't even really respect him. They wanted Jason Garrett back. Jason Garrett was winning with the trash that Jerry was throwing out there. Me not being a Cowboys fan, I thought Garrett both got too long, because if he was a different color coach, he would have been fired a long time ago. But he was at least winning, and he was winning with nothing. And nobody knew about Dak, but he was able to take Dak from being a 4th-round pick, take him and win the division, and then challenge for, big wins in the playoffs with a quarterback that nobody knew about because their big dollar guy that Jerry Jones threw a whole lot of money at had back problems. So Jerry's the problem. The coach he hired is the problem. Get them all out of there. And I think that's going to be a lot of years. So Howard, I don't know what number he could put up here that would make me feel like it's okay for the Cowboys to win.
Okay, all right, that's funny. All right, that's correct. Okay, well, is that. Look, Charles Barkley made a comment the other day that I saw that says Tom Brady is the best athlete ever in any sport. Best athlete ever in any sport. Rashawn, do you agree or disagree that Tom Brady is the best athlete ever in any sport?
I don't agree at all. I can't say that because when I think of athletic, I don't think of Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I do think that he is one of the GOATs. That's debatable between him, him and Peyton. Well, he may have solidified that last year. But as far as the best athlete, no, absolutely not. I can't sit on that. I don't know where Charles must have been drinking a little bit. But yeah, no, I can't. When you think of athleticism, when you think of an athlete, you think of his airness, Jordan. Just the different, I guess, physical attributes that players have. Or I'll say for myself, anyways. But if I saw Tom Brady regularly, I wouldn't even think that he could do anything. He doesn't look like an athlete per se to me. That's just the way I feel about it. I'd say the same thing about Peyton Manning too, because if I didn't know anything about sports, then I wouldn't believe that he would play anything. So
Howard, on you.
Look, man, Charles Barkley must have been sitting down eating a whole bunch of donuts when he did that. When he was sitting down eating something. Hey, come on, man. The best athlete, really? Hey, Tony, me and you better athletes than Tom Brady. We just might not be able to throw better than him, but we're better athletes than Tom Brady. My son a better athlete than Tom Brady. Come on, Charles Barkley. What in the world are you thinking? Sometimes the thoughts of Charles Barkley when he talks, and people really do listen, sometimes they need you to turn off their ears. Because he's going to say something stupid like that what he just said. That was the dumbest comment he ever made. Or one of the dumbest that he ever made. No, man, Tom Brady is a great quarterback. He is a great, just like my son said, thinking of an athlete. Man, go ahead, Tony. I don't even care if I get points. Tom Brady is not no great athlete, man. Go ahead, Tony.
All right. So on this question, I'm actually going to give Charles Barkley a pass, and here's why. So there's so many different definitions of what we look at as an athlete. So if Charles Barkley was saying the most skilled, the best person in sports altogether, I'm still going to disagree with him, but I understand what he's saying from a skill standpoint. Here's why I'm going to disagree with him, because Tom Brady is the participant in what is the most ultimate team sport that was ever created. Meaning, if Tom Brady had got drafted by the Cleveland Browns or the Detroit Lions or a team like that, you would not even know his name because he would be out of the league 3 years, just like everybody else.
Wow.
Basically, he walked into a tailor-made situation where the team was everything. He wasn't asked to do it. In fact, he was an average quarterback for like the first 8 to 10 years of his career. So, but he's the winningest because he's a part of the winningest franchise. When I think of the best athletes of all time, and even talking about the best that ever do it, you look at someone like a Serena Williams who has dominated, and I'm out there in a sport by myself. I don't have a team to depend on. I don't have a coach to depend on. It's just me against that person across from me. When you look at players like that from tennis, you look at track and field, you look at like a Usain Bolt who can win the gold medal in the 100, and I'm not sure if he ever won the gold in the 200, but I know he was there. Like Michael Johnson, who was running both. You know, those kind of people, they are like the best athletes. They're the best to do it at the time, and even holding world records, so the best that ever done it. So those kind of people are the best athletes to me. And Tom Brady is just, he's the winningest. I can't take that away from him. But no.
Well, let me ask y'all a question. Y'all know he was drafted for baseball too, right?
Do you know how many people there are?
I'm just saying, don't that. I mean, you don't have to be an athlete to be able to play baseball and football and get drafted professionally.
Do you know how many people get drafted in the NBA? I mean, in the MLB. So basically what they do in the MLB, just because most people don't pay attention to the MLB, what they do is if they think, like if you're dominant in high school, like you put up good numbers, what they do, because they have so many rounds in the MLB draft, what they'll do is they'll draft you and they'll hide away, but they don't always sign you. They just don't want anybody else to sign you. And so because they may not have anybody that they think might be great, they might draft. Don't get me wrong. He was still skilled at all of them. But Tom Brady has never even been the best athlete on any team he's ever participated on.
Got you. I understand. All right, look.
And then hold up, and then you think about it, man. And like Tony was saying, he had a great system, man. But them dudes had a great defense too. They had a great defense, man. And people will say Tom Brady. Don't get me wrong; they had a nice offense. Tom Brady did everything in that set offense and whatever they had. But their defense was one of the greatest to ever play this game, man. Don't sleep on their defense, Tom Brady. He don't play defense; he play offense. Get out of here, man.
Just go back and look at his combine. Tell me, like that's all I gotta say about it.
Come on, man.
He's a GOAT, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, but. Yeah, as far as the best athlete, I can't say that.
I'm sorry for laughing, but I like the way Howard got a bunch of points by starting off his conversation by saying, like Tony said, and then repeated exactly what
You like that, don't you? You
Oh,
like that, don't you?
that's funny.
I appreciate it. I
That's
appreciate
funny.
it.
You ought to give you look. The finals is over. LA, one of the big market teams. It's a lot of buzz going around now. Rashawn mentioned it a little earlier about what LA is going to do. There's some big splashes that's being talked about. The questions are, who do you think LA, well, or better yet, which guard do you think would be a better fit in LA? Russ or CP3 would be a better fit. If they could get either one, which one do you think would be a better fit, Tony?
So to me, this isn't even a question. It's CP3 and it's not close. CP3 played with James Harden, so he showed that he can play off the ball and be a spot up shooter. But then when LeBron goes down, he's shown that he can run an offense with lesser players like it did in OKC. So it does not require him to be playing with additional great players. Plus, he has a respectable outside shot, which is something that Russ has struggled with. Russ is one of those people that you can clog the paint on Anthony Davis because you don't have to guard his outside shot because he's going to shoot it somewhere around the 27 to 30% range. So therefore, I can back off of him because I know he's like super fast. This isn't even a question. And if you're going to look at their salaries, honestly, I'd rather pay $40 million for CP3 than $37 million for Russell Westbrook. It's not even close.
Wow. Howard.
Oh man, I love me some CP3. I love it. But what the Lakers have been missing is an athletic point guard that can bring it every night. Did you hear me say every night? I didn't say take a night off. Every night this dude can bring it. One thing that he does have over CP, one thing that CP3 has over him, CP3 may shoot the ball better. Russ can guard better. But that athleticism
you gotta hope somebody knows.
It's a whole different scenario, baby.
Hey, wait. Please, just name the first all defensive team that Russ has even gotten an honorable mention for, and then we can talk.
I said he plays better D than Chris Paul, so we ain't gonna go there. All right.
No. So he plays better defense than someone who has been perennially an all defensive player.
Check somebody, can we? Hey, he go back to zero.
Man, Chris Paul has been consistently one of the best defensive guards in a long time. So yeah,
that is hilarious.
I mean, if you look at it, remember the time when they were comparing CP3 to Darren Williams? And Darren Williams they were like the two up-and-coming point guards. Darren Williams was the big body guy who could run an offense. But what they said was CP3 was he ran a good offense, but he was also a dog defensively. This is the same guy that they put on Kevin Durant in the playoffs. Come on, man.
Hey, Tony, but what LA is missing is an athletic point guard right now. CP3 can run an offense. Russell Westbrook can run an offense, man. Come on, dude. The dude can rebound. The dude might not have the best shot in the world, but he can get his points. But when he got Anthony Davis and he got daggone LeBron James, he don't need to do all of that. They need somebody like him. They don't need somebody to slow them down. They need somebody to push the pace of the game. You don't believe that? Come on, bro.
I can't give you no points. I'm trying to give you one. I can't give you no points. You got two people outside. They frowning at you right now. We got to see. We got to see. Go ahead, Rashawn. Go ahead.
Nah, it's CP all the way. I mean, it starts with his relationship with LeBron and AD just off the get go.
I understand. Listen, I understand. You're going to make a great point. I want you to speak to what he just said. Russell West was a better defensive than CP.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, I just want to see if you was going to disagree with your dad. That's what I was really looking for. Let me
Yeah. I don't believe that one bit. CP still play defense, man. He's consistently been one of the best defensive guys in the league. Since he's been in there. So that's one thing that I've always said about CP3 is, the floor general that he is and, the defense that he plays as well. He's kind of like Rondo, a coach on the court. You know what I mean? So, yeah, if I can speak back to the question, I would say it's CP3 just because the offense gets stagnant as well when LeBron goes off the floor. They're always looking to see who's going to be the scorer or how can they. I don't think it's more so about tempo.
You making my point. Go ahead.
No, I'm not making your point because it's not about tempo. Yes, AD is always getting hurt. What do you need to push the tempo for?
Who's getting hurt?
AD. As big as the Lakers were, they still have the ability to push the floor with Chris Paul, but they can do it in the half court as well.
I think your whole point about athletic point guards can be something that can work. But I got to take points away from you from saying Russ is a better defender than Chris Paul.
That ain't right, man.
I would just like to say, as someone who has followed LeBron's career closely, I think exactly what the Lakers needs is someone who can take away 29 to 30 shots a game from LeBron and AD. That's exactly what the Lakers need. Somebody who's going to get his points up regardless. Somebody who was more concerned about getting triple doubles than actually about the team winning. Has there ever been a player in the history, and don't get me wrong, I actually like to watch Westbrook play sometimes, but has there ever been anyone with emptier stats than Russell Westbrook? When he started averaging a triple-double? When they stopped winning.
Oof.
Huh?
He started averaging a triple-double when KD left and they stopped winning. Fact check that.
Well, you want to fact check? Fact check that.
Wait, player. Hold on. What about fact checking?
I'm not talking about when he was in OKC.
Hold on, what about fact checking? You gotta tell me what I'm fact checking. Tell me what I'm fact checking.
Yeah, tell me what we fact checking.
No fact check. Do you see what he did in Washington last year?
Okay,
when they was in the gutter.
So they finished
Did
out
you
of
see
the
that,
gutter?
Tony?
Wait, they finished out of the gutter?
They went to the playoffs, Tony.
Dude, what was their record? So wait, if you finished 500 or below,
they went in the playoffs.
that was a good year.
Excuse me?
If you finished, they went to the play-in, and what happened?
What?
They went to the play-in game. What happened during the play-in?
They won, Tony.
They won it all.
What are you talking about?
I thought they went out.
And then they went to Philly and lost in Philly. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, they did get smashed. My bad.
I know.
They lost the first game.
My Celtics. My Celtics put them in the play.
Oh Lord, that's
Come on, man. He elevated his game to help them get to the playoff, to the play-in game, if what you want to call it.
I will agree. This year, it doesn't seem it. This year, his triple doubles seemed a lot more than in the past because I had the same thoughts
Exactly.
in the past. I'm like, but that's only this year though. Before then, I'm like, he's just playing for his stats. This year, I did feel a little bit different about it.
I don't care about that. When he played for stats, I'm talking about this year. This is what I'm talking about. The same dude that y'all were saying. Listen, man, they didn't have a good team. Washington. Two guys tried to help them get there, and a surrounding cast. Almost, they needed one player. If Philly didn't have Embiid, they would have went past Philly. Period.
Wow.
If Philly didn't have Embiid, they would have beat him. They would have beat him.
I might go for that. All right. This turned out to be a good topic, fellas. I didn't know it was going to be this good. I thought it was going to be a dry topic, but once he said that defensive thing, that changed the game a little bit. But that was a good topic. Anybody have any comments on that before we move over to what Jerry Rice said? Jerry Rice made a comment the other day. He said it's trash. That's finger time. Oh, that's funny. All right, Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice made a comment. Let's listen to Jerry Rice.
The game really favors the wide receiver now.
Yeah.
Because you can't put your hands on him. I remember back in the day, if I was running a route on the backside and the ball was being thrown on the front side, I was still getting hit on the backside. So, you can't do that to players anymore. Linebackers can't take shots at you coming across the middle anymore. And, I would say, and it's kind of hard, because it's hypothetical, but I probably might be able to, double everything.
Oh, that's all.
All right, Jerry Rice said that if he was playing today, he would double his stats if he played today because of the way the defenses are played. We're going to start with you, Howard.
Listen, man, I'm going to give it to him. Yes, he would have. His stats would have been double, man.
You got to
His
tell me
stats
why.
would have been
Give me
double.
why. Give me a good reason. Give me a good reason.
Listen, man. Listen, this dude could run past you on the sideline. He could run past you. He could do everything that any of these receivers are doing now and leave you in the dust. He could do everything that they're doing now. You can't hit nobody really going across the middle with the authority that you could hit back in the day.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
You can't do it. If you come across the middle back in the day, they're going to knock you out.
Good point. Good point. Good point.
Simple as that. Today, if you get hit coming across the middle, it's a penalty. Matter of fact, if you tap them on the helmet, come across the middle, it's a penalty.
Good
Come
point.
on, man. And today's game does not compare to where they play. I'm not going to tell y'all my age, but back yonder, you know what I'm saying? Listen, man, back when they were really playing football, when you was really getting hit, Jerry Rice was still the best receiver out there. And I would agree with him 100%. He would have tripled his stats, not double, tripled them jumps.
Well, go on and lean into it then. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead, Rashawn. Go ahead. Let me hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I thought he sold himself a little short. He would definitely dominate this era.
Short.
Kind of like basketball. It's
Tell me why, Rashawn. Tell me why. Tell me how.
Because it's dedicated to offense. Everybody want to see offense nowadays. So just like you said, it's catered to the receivers. You can't touch them.
Okay.
The replays. You got the replayability, the PI. It's too easy for the receivers nowadays. DBs. It's hard for the DBs to make it in the NFL today. Everybody just wants to see offense. That's what the NFL makes their money with, offense, and so that's why it's catered to them. Receivers and quarterbacks, straight up. Now, we'll say they don't care about running backs, but that's a whole nother topic. Receivers and quarterbacks.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm leaving. So let me school you guys. I never thought I would have to school the old guy on something, but I'm going to do it this time. So we started this conversation about talking about Tom Brady and the system. First of all, Jerry Rice was a part of the actual first West Coast system, or was a pass-dominant offense where they spread everything out. He was running slants across the middle. So guess what? He might have gotten chucked on the back end, but he wasn't getting hit on the back end. Why? Because he was on the outside. He ran 3-yard slants where he got the ball, and then he was able to run away from people and get down. You say he would be burning people right now? Does 40 time mean anything? Because I do recall Jerry Rice clocked somewhere in the 5-second range when he ran. That's why he wasn't like this big major dude. They got guys out there running 4.2s now, dude. Right now, Jerry Rice would be a top-level starter. But from a skill set standpoint, if you really want to talk about it, Jerry Rice in this system, he would not be able to run past him because guess what? DBs are running 4.2s now. They can't hit you, they can't hold you, but they can run with you. And Jerry Rice won't run away from nobody except those people when they had him lined up on safeties or slow corners because they wanted to put 6'2" guys out there because they wanted to stop the pass so he'd be able to run past them, man. I mean, come on, man. Don't get me wrong. I still think he would be a Hall of Famer because you have to catch the ball. But this get off my lawn stuff that these old people be doing, man, talking about like I would be dominating double Howard, double. You mean to tell me that Jerry Rice is that much better than Randy Moss? Double? Man, come on, man. You, Jerry, and all them people he talking about, y'all own some fire, dude. Y'all, whatever y'all own, it's legal there in Virginia, y'all can make a killing.
I don't know if he could double, but man, to say that he'll just be a top-notch wide receiver,
So you think he would be that much better than Randy Moss? You think he would be that much better than Chris Carter? You think he would be that much better than the guys who are dominated now? The Antonio, he wouldn't. I'm sorry, he wouldn't be close to where Antonio Brown is right now because Antonio Brown has the hands, but Antonio Brown outruns Jerry Rice by almost a second in the 40. Come on, dude. Like, it's crazy. So don't get me wrong. You still got to be smart. You still have to do something. But let's not sell these guys short because people ain't hitting them in the head with helmets no more. That's the only thing that's been taken away.
The only thing I agree with. Okay, so yeah, so I still agree that he would double his stats, but I definitely agree that he would triple if you get the yards for the pass interference and the penalties and stuff like that. But the ball is going to move regardless because of the penalties that he creates nowadays. Okay. The only way to stop him is to get those penalties. He can still catch the ball. It seems like you're trying to take his hands away from him too. He may not have been, like blow the top off speed, but I mean Jerry had the hands.
Yeah. So he also played with literally the most accurate quarterback in the history of NFL. And before that, it was, someone who's arguably the greatest quarterback in the NFL. So it's not as though he didn't have the best of the best throwing to him. Oh, yeah, and he always played opposite of, who? Because until T.O., Taylor was literally the only person. Right now, do you know how many teams have 3 wide receivers that they throw the ball to? So those yards would be spread out. Dude, come on, triple his stats. That means whoever's playing quarterback for him is going to throw for 8,000 yards in the season. I rest my case. Thank you very much. Go right ahead.
Tony, just because you're a young buck, you're still a young buck, does not mean anything. You're still a young buck. These guys today, man, can't get hit. Let me tell you something, Tony. When you playing these guys off the line now and they running this 4-2, if you were doing the same, you would blow by them too. Come on, man. You can't touch them because if you touch them before 4 yards, so they say, if you touch them before that 5-yard thing, or even right at the 5 yard, they call them a penalty, man. They call them holding. Come on, man. You got to stop. You need to drink some more, whatever you drinking, because you right now.
Wait a minute. So if they held him, how many yards does he get for that? Exactly. He would not be doubling his stats. That was an old man, get off my lawn. These guys got it so easy. It's like Charles Barkley saying LeBron playing his age because they couldn't hold him.
Well, then, I got a question then. So would the better argument be that they wouldn't have as many stats playing in his era than with him playing in this era?
Ooh, great question.
Actually, I would say this. No, I would actually say this. Because of the speed difference, people are bigger, stronger, faster. Understand, nobody saw anything like Calvin Johnson back in the day. Back in those days, linemen were 275 pounds. You know what I mean? Right. This dude, Calvin Johnson, he was the biggest tight
He's
end.
An anomaly, though.
Yeah, but that's
he's an exception.
But it's a lot of big guys. Evans, it's a lot of big guys.
It ain't a lot of Calvin Johnsons.
Michael Thomas, Evans.
Not Calvin Johnson.
What I'm saying is there's a lot of big guys out there that was so. What I'm saying is
ain't a lot of them got no hands like daggone Jerry Rice. I don't care what you say, how big they were.
So what do you think Odell Beckham would have done back then? What do you think Odell would have done back then?
It's hard to say what them guys gonna do when they putting them hits on them like that.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is because it's hard to say, you can't say a dude go double his stats.
Them Ronnie Locks.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Jerry Rice ain't never had to run up against Ronnie Lott because he was on his team.
Yeah. Them backs like that though. It was them DBs.
Dude.
I don't know. That's a good topic though. I don't know about that doubling though. That's
what I'm talking about. That's ridiculous.
That's a simple double.
Doubling his stats though. I mean, that means he would have the best yards ever.
Hold on. So what's
good topic, guys. Let's get one more in. Good debate, fellas. Good debate. Listen, we just had this finals. Giannis, I believe, had one of the best finals in NBA history. And so my question to you guys.
I am a fan of Golden Hoops. The long wait has ended after a half-century. The Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again.
I can jump, I can shoot, I can pass the ball. I can do everything in the court.
My question is that Giannis has just solidified himself as being the best player in the NBA. Is he the best player in the NBA, Giannis? We start with you, Howard.
No. Nope. The best player in the NBA right now is still Kevin Durant. I'm sorry, LeBron. The best player in the NBA is Kevin Durant. Unstoppable. The best player in the NBA is Kevin Durant. Simple as that. Giannis is top 3. He could be in there. Kevin Durant. Now, I can't even name a few more people. It's sad, ain't it? Kevin Durant, the best player, man. I only got no more to say because y'all got me losing by a landslide right now. I don't got a whole lot to say right now.
Dude,
but
that's way closer than it should be. Trust me. That's saving face right
Bishop
there.
done took points away from me. I don't got a whole lot to say on that album. But Bishop, yeah, Kevin Durant is the best player. Giannis is not the best player. I'm sorry. No, he's not.
Wait, Rashawn, say something so Howard can agree with you and get points.
When he develops,
Yeah, that's funny. That is hilarious.
when he develops a consistent jump shot compared to and considering all the other things that he has, then he may rise to that occasion. Until then, no.
Rashad.
Nope.
Yeah, I agree. I think KD is the best. Followed closely by probably, Luka. But yeah, it's just Giannis is still up there. Of course, he's one. I can't put him over KD though. The funny thing about Giannis is I've seen videos when he was before he put on all that muscle, and he could shoot. So it was kind of it seemed like his muscle was kind of like the Achilles heel for him. But yeah, absolutely, it's still KD as of right now.
Tony, you gave Giannis some steroids.
So
I'll say his shooting motion was a lot better than what it is now.
Right, his shooting motion, and that's kind of hard. I wanted to easily dismiss this question, but I can't really, because when you think about it, Giannis to me is more Shaq than LeBron and Kobe, and if you were to take Shaq and give him Giannis's handle and his agility, there would be no question as to whether or not he's the best player in the league. And I will say this, what you talked about Russell Westbrook, Giannis is all of those things like KD and everybody else, but he's got that Russell Westbrook hustle. Like he's got that, I'm going to give it to you every night. So I disagree that he needs to have a jump shot. To me, all he needs to have is free throws. Because guess what? Shaq didn't have a jump shot, but he was the most dominant player in the league. Now, it depends on when you say best, it depends on whether you're talking about the most skilled or the most dominant. Because if you say the most skilled, there are 3 people who come to mind. That's, you could put 4 if you want to put KD in there. But my most skilled, my top 3 would be LeBron, Luka, and Harden. Would be as far as the most skilled, as far as being able to do everything. But sometimes LeBron will take a game off because he's old. He's supposed, you think about it. Sometimes Luka might take a game off because he's overworked, he's tired or whatever. James Harden is deferring, and I just personally did not like watching his style of play when he was in Houston. But the reality is Giannis brings it every night. And so when you couple that with the skills, he does have the handle. And then he got the longest Euro step I have ever seen in my life. From the top of the key to dunking off a Euro is crazy. So it's not a slam dunk, but I would still give it to LeBron and KD.
All right, there we go, fellas. Clock is on. All right, Tony.
Stop traveling, man.
Hey.
Tell the NBA stop traveling. What you talking about?
Tony takes this. He takes the round this time. It was a great debate, guys. I had a phenomenal time. And you know what makes this sports toss with a kingdom twist is at the end, whoever has the most points when the horn go off get to encourage the viewers for a few minutes. So we're gonna give this. Y'all hang out with us. Howard, we'll be right back. Rashawn, we'll be right back. We get the last word to Tony. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, so recently I've been asked by a bunch of people that that I deal with, coworkers and things, about how is it they found out I've been married for 23 years. My lovely wife Paula. Hey Paula, she watching. We've been married, and how have we been able to make it work? Has it been great? Has it been this? Has it been that? And I told her, I said, well, actually, I told them it's the very opposite of that. It was not great all the time, but what I had was a woman who was willing to work and wait for me to get right. And so I began to look at what was going on. And one of the things that I gave them to kind of help, that is probably a struggle in a lot of marriages now, is that people do not know how to be selfless. And so what I found out is, if you take this, as far as a marriage, you want a happy marriage, you want something that looks like the best part of mine, but none of the bad part of mine. What you want to do is you want to say, hey, I don't have to worry about what makes me happy. I'm only going to focus on what makes my wife happy. And I don't have to worry about me, because my wife is focused on what makes me happy. And when both people are standing back to back, covering each other's back, there's nothing that can stand against you. So I thank you, my beautiful wife, Paula, for putting up with me while I got myself together. And low-key, I put up with her while she got herself together too. But that's another story I'm going to get in trouble for later. But yes, the word for the day is selfless and not selfish. And we can keep these marriages, and we can stop being in statistics, and we can be happy living together and loving together. And you can have your wife watching you humiliate Howard and his son on Sports Talk Television, Sports Talk Unfiltered. There we go.
Hey, we give you applause. Phenomenal.
Hey, look,
Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Guys, listen, this is a great show. This is a great show. Great debate. Rashawn, you brought it. You brought it today, man.
I tried.
Thank you. You did good. You did good, man. Listen, guys, watch us every Thursday night at 9:00 p.m. Tell somebody about us. We're talking sports talk unfiltered with a kingdom twist. We have great panelists. These are great analysts, great energy. And so we have any last words you guys want to say bye to the people as we cut out of here?
Thanks for having me.
Rashawn, you should have won. How got a bunch of your points for agreeing with you.
See y'all next week.
They count by one each.